Welcome everybody. This is going to be my first episode of Power Hour analysis. I haven't watched this yet. This is my Power Hour video from last night. So I'm going to go over my VODs once a week. See what I did wrong, see what I can do to improve, and kind of give you guys a feel of like how to be approaching Power Hour for yourself. So right here I just noticed that my wings just reset 1 minute ago, so refreshing to 11 wings, overcharging it isn't really that big of a deal. There's no waste, I'm only wasting like a minute. Checking my revenge list here just to make sure that, you know, any high priority people might be hit. And in hindsight, actually, the person I was revenge warring with, Ox, he actually got rank 1 last night too. So, opening up these revenge wars with somebody that's potentially going for rank 1 kind of gives yourself, it gives yourself kind of a disadvantage, because he can wait to hit you or choose not to hit you whenever he wants, depending on his win ratio against you. So if you think that he's never going to lose against you, it's not really in your best interest to be revenging them more towards the half-hour point. At this point, it's still free game. It's not really a big deal to be opening these revenges up, because the lists will be completely changed in half an hour. And he might not be able to respawn. You might be able to get free points off and be able to keep moving up. I didn't know what this guy's Chloe had at the time, Will, or how fast it was, and he had a speed leader, so I didn't want to gamble like racing him on speed. I'm pretty confident when it comes to racing other players, but sometimes you just don't want to against Chloe's in specific, like just because it takes a little bit of time. I was showing last night some scales, so let's go back to Arena. I was requested to hit this guy. Oh, I skipped too far. So, I've hit this guy multiple times. I know what he has. I know he has will rims. I know that he's decently fast, so I need a speed leader in order to compete to him, except he's using Orion, which I know has lower base speed than my Bernard. So I know that I'm going to outspeed him with Bernard. Even with a weaker speed leader, I know that I'm going to outspeed his Orion. Orion's base speed is a large loss in total speed when it comes down to it. It's only like 5 speed, but it multiplies through your tower, it multiplies through speed leader, and then it multiplies through your swift set. So a 6 base speed ends up being something like a pretty big amount. So you can confidently attack Orions with better speed leaders with a Bernard, as long as you have a decent swift set, and I obviously have a really good swift set, so I can hit this guy no problem. This is more of like a safe roll team though. It's not really meant for speed clearing. This is really early in Power Hour still, so I'm not trying to like risk it for the biscuit. I'm just trying to, you know, stay high ranking, try to just take the free wins. You know, use a safer comp. I've been saving Predicted Future for Velagil. Using auto attack gives turns. There's no point in predicting just to go for the stun when the only thing you need to really dispel is that Velagil. I got lucky here that Perna didn't attack Zeros, but I don't know exactly how the AI works when it comes to defense break and half health units, but I think it prioritized elemental advantage and half health over defense break on a neutral element. But sometimes it mixes it up, so it's really more of a by case thing. Alright, slow rolls into a victory. Well, who's this? This must be... That's Nick's defense. I wasn't sure because he switched it a few times during Power Hour. Note here... Pause it for a second. Actually, I won't pause it. I wasn't thinking about what to pick. I was bringing this team. I bring this team against every Orion that runs like a really like no immunity kind of unit like team. Because right there, look what happened. Round 1 dynamic. I have shield on Charlotte and I have will on Charlotte. I have will on every single unit right here. So the statistics of removing will buff instead of shield. Just taking the will buff off, 50-50 chance. Using third ability, 50-50 chance. Then hitting the same exact target afterwards with a stun is a 0.6% chance. It happens about about 1 in 200, less than 1 in 100 chance that it will actually occur, which is why I really like Charlotte on how I have her built currently, because I've been busting her out a lot with the Willed Shield Revenge. Or Willed Shield Blade is what I use. Willed Shield Revenge is actually another really good alternative. But in the meta right now, there's a lot of Orions. And if you're struggling with Orions, try to use a Will Shield unit running 3 Will runes. So then every unit has Shield, every unit has Will. And then you just reduce the risk that you're going to get stunned on round 1, and you can keep your speed clear at a relatively fast pace. Also, Charlotte's pretty good at fluffer damage, and she reduces gauge, which is really good against Camilla. Reducing her gauge causes her not to get any heals. 30%, that's 30% less heals on that turn. Technically. Same thing with Lure, 50%. A lot of people say that you need Galleon to answer like Camilla. That's so untrue. I mean, I have 80% gauge reduction in this comp right here. It does really well against Camilla. It wins. It's just not... I don't know. It's not as efficient as Sierra could be. Sierra would be the upgrade, I guess, for an anti-Camilla cleave. And this is an attack Camilla too. That needs to be kind of known. Running against a cleave like this against a tank Camilla is pretty dangerous because it can actually solo your whole team. Right here, I noticed, I'm like, what's going on? Do you see anything scary on that team right there? Vanessa, Camilla, Praha, and Reyna. There's no threats. Everything is a support. Everything. Camilla, I know that this is Goku's team. I know that he runs tank Camilla. Nothing on this team has any threat. There's nothing that I can be afraid of to lose. So, this is what you would call a wall. This is a wall defense. There's no offense. There's nothing but just like pure stall, pure defense. So what you do against comps like this, when you see this, is you go into a tank cracking team. And one of my best tank cracking teams is Megan and Triple Lucian. Just what I have. A lot of players use like Galleon, triple cleave units. Like you could use Galleon, Pungback, Taeor, Teshar. Doesn't have to be Lucian. Lucian is just what I have because I don't have any Nat 5 cleaving units that are decent other than like Zeros and Charlotte. Also, there's so many more that I left unnamed, like Maron is being used right now. There's so many units that are in the meta right now that are so useful on AO. But the thing is, the problem with defenses like this, where you go into like a stall defense, is when you're susceptible to a tank crack team. If you're open to be tank cracked, It's really, really bad because look at how tanky this team is. Yet I'm clearing it at a moderate pace, pretty much the speed of any other Guardian player. And this is like a rank 1 contention defense right here too. So I think he got 2nd place last night with his defense, and I got 3rd place. But I guess that's the thing, is like, you really gotta have a really well-rounded defense if you're trying to go stall. You need to answer more things than what that comp is accomplishing. And here I just sit here and explain that for a little bit because it's really early in Power Hour. I can take my time. So I'm just gonna skip ahead a little bit. I find Claytano, which, see, here's the thing about game knowledge. This is where game knowledge really comes in to play. I know Claytano. I talk to Claytano all the time. He's always around. And I know that his runes are a little bit weaker than the average peer of mine. So I kind of picked on him here because I knew that I could, you know, go in and have a safe win because he was roughly around the same rank as me at the time. So I went into like a more of a, I think, a Praha and Bernard lure team, and actually his Reyna stalled out really, really well. It took me a while to kill her. Let's skip over. Oh, another Goku tag. I don't think this is Nick's defense. I think this is somebody else's. I'm sitting here explaining on stream, so it's taking a while. Explaining things. A lot of times until the last 20 minutes, I kind of just explain stuff on my stream and tell people what's going on, why things are happening at that time, and that doesn't really get until like the last 10-20 minutes or so where I really buckle down and start to stop trying to teach people or educate them and show people the way or whatnot. And then I kick into overgear where I really go ham. Again, this is the same comp as earlier. Against Orion, Shield Will is a really big counter to him. Against Camilla, Gauge Reduction is a really big counter. Same thing as Veramos. If Veramos doesn't get turns, then Veramos can't dispel. Same thing as Beast Monks. Beast Monks are really, they fall really prey to Gauge Reductions and slows because they're already kind of slow and they're already like kind of low defense as it is. They're an HP unit, and most players don't really build it resistance. Most players don't really build it like defensive with high defense. They usually just stack a lot of HP and crit damage and crit rate, maybe some accuracy. So you really don't have to worry about them when it comes to cleaving them. They're very easy to cleave. One of the easiest units. They eat almost anything that you throw at them. I mean, you hit them with Lure, it gets hit. You hit them with Charlotte, they take a glancing. You know, like you hit them with Zeros, they get cooled down. Hit them with like anything and they're going to take it. They're so reliant on skills, I mean on stats. Here's a big problem with this comp is he doesn't have a speed leader, he has Leo. And he's got a gauge buffer. If you gauge buff against Leo, you automatically get your entire team to move no matter what. If you ever gauge buff, you get overcharge from that gauge. Now, this is a problem with cleaves though, is if Leo hits a water unit and it's not will ruined like mine is, then it will move last. it will move last on your team, but it will still move before their team. So almost every player has Will on a water unit to eat that initial blast from Leo. Now look how much damage he did. If he procced 5 times, I would have still lived. So really you have to plan ahead for the procs. I do this with Theo as well, where I plan for 5 procs. 5 procs is my death. If Theo procs 5 times, I die on 1 unit. That every unit I attack with, I plan for 5. If the 5th proc happens, I'll die. Fine. That's fine. In this scenario, I probably would have lived because it wasn't that YOLO, but against a Theo probably could kill anything but Bernard in 5 hits. But Theo's obviously not in this team right now, and it's Leo that we're talking about. Will is your saving grace against this comp, and having an extremely fast gauge buffer like Bernard, faster than their enemy Orions, which I know that I can race them because he doesn't have a speed leader. I don't need to put a speed leader up. But let's say he did put a speed leader on here, and let's say he dropped like Chasun. He put a speed leader like Sierra, and then Orion, Leo, and then Zeros. I would put a speed leader on there, put Megan, and then put Lucian, and then put Bernard in there. And then I would outspeed him with the Bernard, gauge buff, power buff, and then potentially kill Orion and Leo, which is basically what Scat Fetus was talking about on his post with the Big Bertha Cleave. You put all of your cards into 1 damaging unit, and you try to kill 2 units, and then you finish out a 2v4. You can easily do a 2v4 because the setup units are gone. There's no defense break anymore. There's no threats. They're all gone. And if it is like a Sierra 2, she's dead too, so it's probably only Zeros left. And if it's a yellow Zeros without enough HP, it's dead. So I'm just going to continue. At this point, he has already lost. There's no way that he can come back. If Zeros procs 10 times, I'm still going to live because I have a water unit on my team and that didn't take enough damage. Like, it's already over. It was over the second that he put Leo on his defense. I got Goku again, I think. It's really getting down to it. I see on my... I'm watching this from my live stream last night. I see in my chat it's 11:43, so it's 17 minutes until close on Power Hour. And again, I'm bringing just a shell crack against him. Just a tank cracking team. It's... I don't know. It's kind of the meta right now to be running stalls. And I mean, yeah, there's a counter to it, but I mean, there's... When I'm running when you don't have a shell cracking team like I do, then you're forced to, like, avoid that person completely. Which kind of sucks in this meta right now. Because basically you're not trying to like win your AD anymore. You're just trying to get avoided more than the next guy. And that's what's obtaining rank 1 recently, which kind of sucks to see that, but now what sucks is I didn't get the buff block. And I didn't get the power break, which is really why Bernard is really good against Theo. He got the defense break on the first try. So I've had really bad RNG in this whole fight. Almost everything has went wrong so far. So this Lucian's gonna lose power buff right here. I use cards because, I mean, he's on his dying breath pretty much. Sometimes the AI will actually go for that target too, so you never know. And what's absolutely crazy right now is I probably put 100,000 or more damage into this Reyna. That's really why she's so heavily used in Guardian 3 meta right now. Is you can put more damage down into a PvP Reyna than Necropolis B10. I think this is the AO where I took too long to pick and somebody changed up on me. Yep. Because he's running Speed Leader, Gauge Buffer, I was going to run a tank cracking team. I mean, not a tank crack team, a Big Bertha team against him because he was of what he was doing. But he ended up putting a full stall team on instead. And Big Bertha really doesn't work like against a full stall team. That's not, like, they're too counteractive, like, teams, for sure. I end up slow rolling losing on this one, and this is actually where I could probably attribute the power hour to. I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into getting rank 1, a lot more than meets the eye. But this one is like, I always, at the end of the night, I was only 18 points off. Losing this match is a 20-point differential at the end of the night. I was 18 points off of rank 1 last night. So, this might have been the match that really messed things up for me. I should have been able to pick faster. Well, I should have picked faster. I am live streaming, obviously, so I mean, there is the obvious disadvantage that somebody could be watching, and I acknowledge that. This isn't the first time that somebody swapped up on me for defense. What I should have really done is just refresh my list instead, because he might have known that I was already he was already on my list, because I think this is the third person I attacked on the list from bottom to top. And I end up losing this match for sure. There's nothing I could have done against that. I got comped. So on our next match, a full stall quad dam double Chloe Reyna team. Crazy, right? You'd think against a stall comp I'd just bring triple Lucian, right? I don't know why I hovered on Zeros right there. I was gonna Dispel Cleave it with Praha, just Dispel it and just blow up the Toast and the double Chloes. Oh wait, I did do that. What the fuck? Oh, I think I got this guy again later then. Maybe I attacked him differently, or earlier. So this team's not too bad against this, but I got really bad RNG on the opener. Both Chloe's got resist off. So obviously, if that's something like that happens, you gotta choose not to defense break with lure. You gotta just sit it out and wait. Just focus on the Huadam. This guy was the lowest player on my list at the time too, so I just refreshed and I didn't really... I wasn't, like, planning on doing anything this week other than just going for G3, so I hit him because it looked like a fun defense to play around with. Normally, though, I think I probably should have avoided this team. I don't know... I don't really have an answer to speed clear this person, and he wasn't like a prime player to be hitting. To be honest, I don't know what rank he was at the time, but I know he was lower. Maybe up to 50 points lower than me at the time, maybe even 100 points lower. So obviously, I think at the end of this I could get like 8 points or something, so it really wasn't rewarding to attack him, and it wasn't like a necessity to attack him either. I went on my way to do this, and this is at 11:53, right now, so it's 6 minutes until close. To be honest, I should have just ignored this player. I could have like looked for Ox or Goku instead in hindsight, and potentially got more points off of them in the long run, and I probably could have cleared a lot faster. The problem is with attacking Ox, I don't have like an extremely fast speed clear against him, and the one that I do is risky. So I have a potential loss scenario that's like probably 5 to 10% where I could get slow roll lost against him, or I could win extremely fast. So it's more of like I could have risked it for the biscuit, like gambled for the win at the end of the day, or I could have attacked this guy, got a free win, but it took really long. And to be honest, right now is really when I'm like, oh, it's 5 minutes to, and I'm like rank 3 or something like that. I can't remember exactly what rank I am, but when I get out of this. But right after this match, I noticed that I got defense successfuls in, and I'm like, all right, well, I might as well push. You know, it's not like I was going for this reward. Nobody's really going for this reward. This is a light horse, or a light Anubis. And like I said, I got 8 points off of him. It wasn't really like worth it. Right here, I'm like, I know you guys can't see the other side of the stream, but I'm smiling because I see 4 minutes to, and I'm third place, and I'm like, all right, well, I might as well go for it. I was like, oh, let me just hit Nick because I have an answer for his normal defense, and I was like, nah, fuck that shit. That shit was so jacked up, I didn't even want to deal with it. I didn't know what rank he was at the time either. He had a weird defense up. I was like, alright, let me go hit somebody that I know is like contending right now. Let me refresh and find somebody that I know is up there. Now this comp, it doesn't really have too much pressure against it, but it does have longevity with the Reyna, which would kind of suck to bring triple Lucian against a double dispelling team that could potentially stun you and keep you stunned until the towers start beating you, right? So I brought a healer to sustain that threat against Senza here. And really, the healer was a necessity. If I didn't bring it, I would have been in a world of pain, to be honest. I could have been in a world of pain. Even though I cleared him so fast, and it might look like I didn't even need it, it's more of like, it's better safe than sorry. I get Emo, again, a player that uses Leo. I really don't like Leo, and I prey on Leo. I feel like he's one of my easiest AOs to fight. When I see it, I'm usually not really worried. Pretty happy that I found one, especially in high ranks. You're like, alright, well, and the thing is right here, increases attack bar, right? You cannot take that turn against a Bernard and Megan. That's a 50% gauge overcharge. You would need to die in order to take a turn, which would mean you lost 100% of your gauge, right? So you can't steal that turn from somebody with a Veramos with one Nemesis set. I don't even think you can do it with 2 Nemesis sets. I think it would take. I think it would take 3 Nemesis sets. Right here, it's 11:58. This is my second to last AO. And I found Goku. He got 2 stuns off, which is really good on round 1. But the thing is he could have got 4 stuns off. It wouldn't have changed a single thing. The comp is far too focused on stalling, and it has no real like threats. So I'm not going to use my cards here because Pra is going to heal. Pra heals, force turn to heal. There's no AoE heal left. I can do any AoE damage I want to now. Now, what somebody said last night, wouldn't Nemesis fix this comp on Praha? And it was actually Goku that said that. He's like, wait till I put Nemesis on my Praha. And that won't actually help. Because the thing about that comp is there's no death potential, and I have so much offense, I have so much AoE pressure that you can't run that kind of a stall comp on there. You need to be able to answer this team if you want to run like a stall unit on your defense. You can't run more stall. You just run one unit. You run one Camilla or one Reina. You don't run Reina and Camilla, because when you run them both, or when you run multiple, then you get hit by stuff like this, and you get cleared even faster than if you would have just brought one. Now, here's the problem. They changed the game recently. This is 11:59 right now. They changed the game recently where your last AO doesn't count. And right now, I just put him down 5 points. I don't know if he's rank 2 or rank 1. I don't know exactly. But I just put him down. He's up 5 points on me. I just seen that he was 2450 and I'm 2445. And I want him. I'm looking for him specifically. I'm looking for Goku specifically. I got him, but it doesn't matter because they changed how the closing works in Arena. Before, we used to get our last AO, and your last AO was your last AO, and then they tally it. But now, they don't let you get your last AO out. They give you a match data error. I think that's a problem. We've had it around for so long where we have the ability to get our last AO out. Why change it now? I mean, this is only something that started last week. But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoy this series that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to try to do it every single week. I might not do it every single week, but I really hope that if this helped you, that you guys click that subscribe button or check me out on my stream. I live stream over on Twitch every single day, and you can find that below in the information of this video. But again, I appreciate you guys watching my videos and supporting me. It really does mean the world to me. I love doing this. I love playing Summoner's War. I love you guys. Have a good one. Take care. Peace.